Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate and today we are working on the Barnstar Sampler quilt and we are working on block number 7, which is the Friendship Star. So this quilt is coming along and this is where we are right now. This is what the block that we're going to make, this is what it's going to look like. And I'm still kind of mimicking the quilt, and I'm putting in my own flair. So if you see here, it's going to be over here, and the exact same block will be right here. And the color so far is pretty much, it blends and is kind of scattered throughout the quilt. And so I just want to show you what the block look like. So let me show you my fabric. Okay. Let me show you what my fabric look like. They don't look like they would jive, but I think it'll work together. So this is the flower part of it. And I have chosen this. This is the Speckle by Ruby Star Society. And this is that pretty green color that I didn't use for the tulip pink background. So I'm using it for this block, for this 2 blocks rather. So in the middle, it's going to look like this. What is a Barnstar sampler without a barn boot or barn boots? So I found this in my stash. These are some boots, and I have fuzzy cut some that will look something like this. So this is my centerpiece that I'm fuzzy cutting. And again, that's from my stash, and that's also from that collection with it's Riley Blake, Melissa Mortensen line from the Fox Farm collection. So this is also from that line as well. It's also from that Fox Farm collection from Melissa Mortensen. So I'm going to put that there. So these are my fabric. I'm going to put it away now. And I have cut out my pieces. These are what my pieces look like. Okay. So I've cut them out. This is what they look like. They're all ready to go for time saving purposes. And we are going to start sewing. Okay. And again, you will need your book. This is what your book look like. You're going to need this book to make this quilt. Let me start sewing this block so I can show you my process, and I hope that you can learn something from me sewing the block. And if you want to start sewing, here we go. Okay. All right. I'm going to start sewing this block, and I'm going to, like I always do, I'm going to sew this per the pattern direction in reference to um, pressing direction. So I'm going to press per the pattern instruction. So if you want to press open, you can, but I'm just showing you a different method that may work for you in your sewing room. So I'm going to press this I'm going to press to the side. Okay. So the first thing we're doing is we're sewing this together. This is your piece A and piece B. So I have completed this, sewing these 2 pieces together. I'm going to add our next step. Corner units are the first thing we're going to do, and then we're going to move on to step number 1, or which is making the side units. So now we're making the corner. So now that the corner units are done, I'm going to set it aside, and we are going to start on making the side units. Step number 1 is, again, we're making another set of flying geese, and it's just a flying geese. So I'm going to make another flying geese, and I'm making a total of 4. So let me just go ahead and get that and then start sewing it. And here we go. I have picked my fabric here, and that's that Rashida Coleman hail that I was telling you all about. This is what it looks like. It's a little cream right there, and it has a gold speckles on it. So it's, and it kind of complement with this. It complements with this because it wants us to use a lighter color. And so I didn't want to use white because white is what I've been using. I wanted to use something different. So that's why I chose this. I'm going to take my rectangle and I'm going to take my square and I'm going to make 4 flying geese now. Okay. I've completed all the flying geese, all 4 of them. There was nothing to it. It's just the same process that I've been doing for the past few months, and it's just simple flying geese. So there it is. I'm going to set it to a side, and then step number 2 on making the side units is what I'm going to do now. Now I'm going to show you that this step, it's a little different, and the square piece does not line up together. I thought I was crazy, but I'm not. It's supposed to be like that. So when you line up your piece, there's going to be about almost a half an inch left on the bottom. That is completely okay. That's what it's supposed to look like. So if you're looking like this is my front right here, and this is the bottom part. So there's going to be a little gap right there. It is completely fine. It's meant to be that way. So you're going to do like a semi-flying geese is what I call it. Kind of like a paper airplane, like we used to do back in the days when we were um, in grade school. That's what this is going to look like. Um, so I'm going to sew a complete one so you can see what it looks like. Okay. And for most of this, I'm making it like where I can cut away and I can save the other piece for something else for later. I'm going to finger press open because this is a flying geese and I don't like the bulk on top. And then I'm going to sew the other square on to here. Okay. Now the reason why I'm making a whole one at a time is just so you can see what it looks like when it's finished. Press the back open. And I'm going to press it. So I pressed it and it looks like this. So there's a little gap here. It looks like it's done wrong, but that's what it's supposed to look like. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is complete making the rest of the 3 and then continue on um, making the flying geese, the paper airplane looking flying geese rather. Okay. So here we go. I have I have completed this section of making this paper airplane looking flying geese type of thing, right? This is step number 2. So what we're doing now for step number 3, we're taking this paper airplane flying geese, right? And we're going to connect step 1 and 2 together to make step 3. Okay. So here we go. So the thinner flying geese is going to go on top, and then this is going to go on the bottom. So, and me sewing this, I like to flip this way. I like to flip it this way where I can see my points so I don't chop the head off. And then sew. So step number 3 is now completed. So I'm going to put it right here. Okay, that's step number 3. And we still have the corner piece right here. So the next step is making the center unit. And um, that's that barn boots that I already fuzzy cut out right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do the square in a square, right? That's the next step. And here we go. Here is the barn boots. So how, like, I try to make sure this color right here is in the middle to kind of pull in everything. So that's my barn boots, square and square. Okay. And now we've done the center, we've done the side, and we've done the corner. So what we're going to do now is assemble the block. Okay. I'm going to assemble it, put my square in the square in the middle, and this, assemble it now, put this like this over here, like so. Okay, and then we're going to put the corner units now. So thank goodness I'm not using a directional fabric. I don't have to worry about what goes where. And in this kind of blocks, I hate using directional fabric because you just never know. So this is what my block looks like right now, right? Like this. Okay. This is what my block is looking like. You see the contrast right there with this. It's not white, but it gives it a little bit of balance without, because this is a lot of flower, which is completely unlike me. And this is no flower, so it doesn't compete with each other. And then in here, it's still balanced and no flower. So because I'm using a very um, petally like flower fabric here, I'm trying to balance out everything else so it doesn't overpower with my other colors. Now what I'm going to do is sew my units together. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is sew this piece here, and this piece here, and then our block will be done. Okay, so all 3 of these segments are joined, and all I have to do now is sew the middle parts together. This middle segment, I'm going to make sew my seam open, because these bumpy section right here, it's wanting you to sew it in this word, but if I do that, it's going to be a little too bumpy for my liking. So I'm just going to sew that part open. That's just an adjustment that I'm making, and I just want to let you know that. So I'm going to press it now. Okay, so now that all 3 segments are joined together, I'm sewing this way, and this block is completely done. Okay, but before we do that, I'm going to show you that I'm going to pin so my points can meet at the end of the day. When everything is done, it will look somewhat put together. Going to pin these parts together, and then pin this right here together. They are nesting just like that, so they meet and they don't look. There we go. So I'm just going to sew it now with all my points nesting, and at the end of the day, if it doesn't come out perfect, I'm going to be okay with that because I tried. And just like that, guys, we are done. So this is what my block look like right now. Okay, so this is it right here, and this is the second one. This is what they look like. Let me show you what this looks like in our quilt so you can kind of see why my color was what it was. Okay, so this is our quilt and this is our block right here. This is the first one that I made and this is the second one. So it has that blue in the middle and it still has it's the same almost this is like a blue turquoise color, and so I'm using this whimsy color right here. Okay, so this is what mine looks like right now. Okay, and oh, my boots are about upside down. So this is it. This is it. And this is our second one. Second block. All done. I put this color. This is the tulip pink. Um, the whimsy, um, the background for the tulip pink butterfly that came with it that I did not use. This is it right here. And I think the color came out kind of really pretty and whimsy. I can do a whole quilt in this exact color. Now that I finished making my block, it's time for you to make yours. And don't forget to subscribe down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.